What's up, guys? Welcome back to another live stream. Tennis Talk here, all the way from China, Shanghai. Let me know where you're at. We are live both on Instagram over here, and we have YouTube as well. Let me know what's going on. What's your tennis story? What's your tennis problem? How can we solve it together here? I'm not sure if you joined previous lives, but usually what I highly encourage you to write down any problems that you encounter every time you're on tennis courts, when you train, when you play matches, whatever is the problem, you should write it down. And I even ask you, you can send me the message, or even better, you can share it here in live chat. And you're also welcome to join the this conversation. You can send a request so we can discuss it live here. But meanwhile, I will just read some comments and answer your questions. This is your time, guys. It's all dedicated for you. I will try to talk less about stuff that I want to talk about, and I would like to really answer your questions, and feel free to go very specific. So thank you so much for joining. Have some patience, because I will read the different comments and different like, I'm gonna also switch from YouTube to Instagram. So far, YouTube, we have just a few viewers. It's always the case recently, but Instagram, we are still kind of hanging in. So we have a first comment here from Andrea. I'm too much emotional in tennis match competition. Very, very common story and a common problem, which not necessarily a problem. It's just a part of being a human being. Being emotional, it's great. That means you care, right? So that's the first thing that you want to acknowledge, and it's a good sign. It's a good sign, because I would always choose that rather than just being a robot and playing. So it's good. Now we want to, tackle those emotions. And I think the best way is just first being aware why you play, and then secondly, reminding yourself that it's just a game. It's just a game, and it's just something you do for fun, hopefully. And there's not gonna happen like apocalypse or end of the world or whatever happens. So you first kind of get rid of that burden of, oh, what it's very important. It's just a game. So just think about it. You want to play, you want to have fun. And then you can kind of dig in more into breathing and having some routines to help you be there present, trying to play one point at a time. That's kind of obvious. The question is how to do it. I think those little routines help a lot. And having a plan, if you can always reflect, like during the match, what is your plan? Do you have some strategy against that specific opponent? And also remind yourself about the footwork. This is something you can always do better, and especially in the tough moments in the match, or if it's very, very tight, if it's a tie break, you just push yourself to move better, and usually you're going to perform better. Hope that helps. Pozdrav, brate. We have some Serbians here. That's always great. Okay, next one. My first serve is good and fast, but first serve in rate are low. For this reason, I throw second serves very slow, and it's not affectable. What can I do? Thanks so much for the question. So here we have issue with inconsistency of first serve. And this is something that, unfortunately, there is no trick, there is no magic that can be performed or shortcut. You just have to put in the reps, my friend. One thing that I avoid doing is talking about the way I used to train serves, because most people would not believe it. So I just avoid doing it. But when I need to give a recommendation, I would just say, do as much as humanly possible. And in which way? Of course, you need to have a plan, you need to have a purpose. I would always say potentially you can start with bigger targets, bigger areas. Always have a target, have an aim, and have a plan. For example, are you just working on consistency of first serves, or you also want to work on the placement? I think doing both at the same time is great. So you can give yourself a bigger area. It can be, how can I say? It can be 1/3 of the box. Like, it's not a box of the service, like a rectangular shape. We call it service box. So you can take 1/3, for example, the white serve, and you can draw the line a bit more angled, or just 1/3. And you work on your regular first serve and just try to get up the percentage. Count 20 serves, how many you make videos, record, of course, see where you can improve it. But I would definitely say, to get more high percentage on the first serves, you have to add some rotation on that serve. So try not to just smash flat serves. That's going to definitely reduce the percentage. Try to, give it some possibly slice rotation. And then the second thing you can do, if the kind of corners don't work for you, and in the match you want just to pump up the percentage, you can go body serve. First serves body, it's always a great weapon, and especially if you add some rotation, it can change the bounce. It can be very tough for the opponents. I hope that helps. And then in the long run, you're gonna see it's gonna improve. It just takes time. Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? Talk about what? I didn't see. Is there any other question? You're welcome. Oh yeah. I play 3 times a week. I run 3 times a week for endurance. Obviously, you do a lot of different strength training exercises. What are the essential strength training exercises for tennis player? Strength training. Oh, strength training exercises. Oh, I saw this very interesting post. I think it was today. I saw it from one of the quite respected tennis coaches, and he talked about how nowadays, especially the junior players, they kind of abandoned the traditional ways of training that include just some boring stuff, including a bit longer distance running, or even multiple sports, or just like simple exercises. And nowadays they're all doing very specific, very fancy exercises. And in the end, it turns out that the result is that the players, especially the junior players, are not that fit, even though they're trying to do a specific and this very, how to say, elite exercises, or complicated, that you would think that's going to really help them, that's something special. But in the end, not just that they're not super fit, but they also have more injuries. That was commented in the post, in the video. By the way, the coach is Horvat Nick, the Croatian tennis coach, and I kind of agree with that. So if you ask me this question, and I kind of got like inspired today after seeing this post. And this is also my belief, though. I also commented there. I agree. And back in the days, can you imagine all these guys who are like super fit doing, I don't know, this crazy movement in the gym with like 5 elastic bands at the same time on one leg, balancing and stuff? Honestly, I'm not sure about that, if it's necessary. So my opinion would be just old school. Make sure you get some endurance, and not just, you said you were running 3 times per week, but what kind of running? So you also want to be careful there. You don't want to do just long distance. You need interval running, intervals. So now for me, I'm doing the stairs intervals, but you can do just any type of running, or the exercise that gets your heart rate up, and you want to go super high. So you want to enter the state where your heart rate is making the transition from aerobic to anaerobic, right? So you kind of enter it's kind of like a sprint. When you're doing a sprint, a longer sprint, then your muscles form lactic acid. So you almost kind of want to get there, and then you want to back off. So you want to do those intervals that you improve this. I think it's called VO2 max. I kind of didn't do this. I didn't get the terms for a long time, but I kind of know it. So that's the one thing, the intervals. And then the strength training, definitely legs, just the usual stuff. Squats, lunges, reverse lunges are good. Lateral lunges and movement combined with some explosive jumps, plyometrics. I would always combine strength with plyometrics. Plyometrics are those jumps with a very short contact on the ground from one foot to another, both feet up, like stuff like that for explosiveness. And then upper body, you want to do everything, not as bodybuilders do, but you definitely want to do also bench press. You need bench press. You need shoulders, not just strength but also mobility and stuff like that. It's not a rocket science. Definitely core and stretching. Sorry, I need to turn on the AC. It's like crazy hot. I was like, what is this happening? Like, why I'm so uncomfortable here? I want to take off the shirt. Anyways, so that was the answer here. Next question. Okay, I'm gonna switch to YouTube just for one question from Christopher. Can you recommend a serve on the ATP and WTA2 the club players could best model? Same for the forehand and backhand. Wow. That's a pretty good question. Well, it definitely would require some time. I might even have to do some research. I'm not that updated on also this younger players, especially the WTA Tour. Honestly, I'm not following that much. So if any recommendation, it wouldn't be my like fully confident answer, right? For the ATP, I can just tell you what's like the technique that I personally like. For the serve, to be honest, none of these like it's kind of tricky now. I don't want to say like I don't like the serves from this top three players in the world. It's kind of, but I would go with some guys who are maybe not now in the top 10, or maybe they even stop playing. Yeah, they're definitely taller guys. I like the pinpoint stance. Definitely pinpoint stance. John Isner. Maybe it's not the best because I know you asked me what is the best model, because not everybody is right 2 meters and 8 centimeters or whatever, something like that. His height. I think Alcaraz is fine. Well, Sinner now changed to pinpoint. I think this is great. Sinner, I like his movement, the lower toss and explosive racket drop and the acceleration there. I think that's good for forehand and backhand. What else can you? What better can you get? Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, these guys. For WTA, I'm really not sure. All right. Now, from M Tennis 88, our 11-year-old son, who is serious player, approaching 8 UTR. Wow, at the age 11. He's always looking for specific techniques to deal with losing points, like tower routine, breathing. What has worked for you as a junior? Wow, great question. I might use some of these questions, guys, for some future podcast topics. I'm kind of running out of ideas, so this is great. So we are talking about the young player, the professional young player, as I understand, because guys, this is quite high. The UTR rating of 8 is quite high for this age, and so he wants to learn how to deal better with losing points, right? And then, okay, the question is, what has worked for me? Uh, to be honest, I was still working on that aspect of the game. I was still getting caught up with the reactions. I would react way too much. I think towards the end, when I maybe the pressure kind of dropped because I also started coaching. So for me, it was when I was all in, when I trained like 6 hours a day, and also not that I sacrificed school, but in high school I didn't attend all the classes so that I could train more, and then I would just go to meet the teachers, professor. They would tell me what to study, and some of the classmates were jealous. Like, how can you not go to classes and then you still show up and you just answer a few questions? But yeah, when I was dedicated and fully in, I felt more pressure when performing, and definitely when I was not playing well, and if I would lose or make some mistakes, it would kind of trigger me because I would put so much effort. And I completely understand. The more you're in it, the harder you work, the more you want it, it kind of almost slips away. So that kind of tells me this, what is the concept of not trying not to care too much, but still, of course, you want it badly, but at the same time, you want to learn how to let it go. And for me, the best way I can describe it, maybe, so when I started coaching and I also played some tournaments and matches, I started just thinking about, I want to enjoy the time I'm on the court. I don't want to stress myself. I don't want to get eaten by the pressure. I really want to just feel the joy of being able to play and then hit some shots that I enjoy. And the outcome is, well, at that stage for me, it was not that important. Of course, I wanted to win, and I would feel a bit sad after losses, but it worked kind of because I was able to play a bit more loose and also bring up my game to like almost my best levels. And one more thing. Okay, so yeah, the question is, after losing, how what to do? Yeah, so just kind of trying to have more fun and see it in that way. I think it helps. And then, of course, just acknowledging the fact that everybody loses points, everybody loses matches. So, and it's all part of the game. And you cannot always feel the best. You cannot play your best tennis every time you're on court. So you just have to accept that. As a matter of fact, I still remember what our head coach in US, when I played college tennis, what he told us, I think on multiple occasions, because we all like, oh, coach, I'm not playing well at that match. I didn't play. Like, I don't remember when was the last time I felt so good. He's like, okay, guys, here is something that I want you to understand and remember. Over the period of 1 year, a whole year, whatever, it's like the whole season or 2 seasons or whatever you do, you are lucky if you play 2 matches. Okay, I think he said one to 2 matches where you feel everything is going as you want. Basically, it never happens. So you have to learn how to deal with that and then just, win regardless of the day. But again, I would still put on the first place, enjoy more, having fun. That's it. Hope that helps. What else? Okay, we have a question on Instagram. All right, I think I caught up everything here. Nobody sends the. Oh, there was one comment here. Appreciate your videos. You're welcome. Okay, here. I'll first go for YouTube and then I'll get back to R4F. Porsche. Wow, Porsche. How do I develop confidence at the net? I mostly play doubles. I used to love playing at the net until I got ball ripped in my face. Ever since then, I'm scared going to net. Totally understandable. Thank you for sharing that, Porsche. This is great. Another great topic. I'm going to screenshot that. And I think this is relatable to many people here, many players. What can you do to stop being afraid of the net and situations like this, like getting hit by the ball? You can see even the pros, like the best players in the world, the fastest one, even in the doubles, they get hit. It can be not the most comfortable thing, right? That happens to you. I think the more time there, I think this is the first tip here. Spend more time in the net. You need to start feeling more comfortable, and it has to become almost like your normal state, because for most people the normal position and like where they feel comfort is the baseline. I remember when I was a kid, when I was a junior and still kind of learning some basic stuff, like my dad would always invite me to the net. We would play. So sometimes I would play with my dad. He's a very, very high level amateur player. So he would invite me and he would kind of force me to stay there for a while, and he would kind of tell me how I need to be more firm, how I need to press the ball and stuff. And I didn't really enjoy that much, but it kind of makes sense. He knew it very well why that's important, because he also played doubles and he knows that being good at the net helps so much. You can close out the points. So I would say spend more time in the net. Have your partner at the baseline or also at the net, both of you. So first thing, you got to spend more time. Make sure your volleys are in place, in check. Watch the videos, see what you can improve. There are so many videos out there. You can check also my stuff, my content, both on YouTube and Instagram. So many videos on the volleys. And regarding the one where you're getting hit or when the ball comes to your face, so I would just give you one advice, which is being ready for the backhand. So when you come to the net, right, you want to be almost ready to hit the backhand, right? Because with that kind of preparation, you're able to like have this shield. That's another way you can think of the backhand volley as your shield, and then you just lift your right elbow, and then you can block this ball here. Now, if it goes to your face, right, you can still kind of boom here. I think ready for the backhand. This and then this is easier than forehand. You gotta do this here. The trickiest spot when you're the net is the right shoulder. I don't know if this shows this right. Well, the way I see in the screen, it shows left. This is my right shoulder, right? This is my forehand. So if the ball comes here, this is the toughest part, because for the backhand is the most awkward position, and also for the forehand, it's like here, right? But anywhere from that to the backhand side, I can cover with the backhand. So I hope that helps. All right, my serve is currently two motion, and I feel I lack the fluidity to generate. Okay, it's got two separate motions. Fluidity to generate the maximum power. Do you have any tips how to change it into one motion? Thanks, coach. The thing is, it's hard for me to give you specific advice without seeing your serve. Now, you tell me two motions, I can only assume that you maybe come here, right? That you come here, you stop, and then you go here. If that's the case, I would just say very simply what I say in most of my serve videos. Please check. That means you didn't watch. Well, because if you watch them, you would kind of know this. You want to separate the toss. Let me see if somebody is familiar with this. Put this in the chat if you're familiar with this concept, because I talk about this every single week. Okay, I'm not going to say every day, but every other day. So instead of boom, try to separate. So turn, toss, right? So this doesn't mean you're having a separate motion. This can still move, but slowly, and then here. There you go. Solve the problem. If that's the two motions you're talking about. Good. Okay, all caught up. You guys are welcome. I'm gonna slowly wrap up here. Gotta do some more posts. You can show drill practice serve. Okay, one more here on the YouTube from Max. Can you talk about whether there should be a leg, racket leg, head pointing towards the net on the back end during the backswing? Wow. Racket head pointing toward the net. Oh, racket head pointing. Wow, that's like so extreme. If I understand correctly, that's crazy. So the back end, right? The tip of the racket should point. Let me use this. But again, I cannot swing here. So you're saying, the way I understand is like when I swing like this, and then like this, like so extreme. Whereas it should be just normal, right? Just turning your upper body, and then the racket leg you should create just by kind of pulling this one outwards, and then it should come out from like in and then outwards, right? Definitely you need the racket leg, but the way you phrased it, I'm not sure if that's possible. But some, like there's some logic there, because that's like similar to forehand, right? Like this and then, but that will be very interesting technique. The reason I asked, this is because when you do the unit turn, when hitting forehand, the pros have the racket pointed to the net, but should you do it on the backhand? Well, you got the question, and almost you got the answer here, because you're mentioning pros. Just watch what pros are doing. I don't think anybody has this kind of swing. I think that's too complicated there on the backhand, and you have two hands on the racket. I don't even know if it's possible, right? Forehand is a bit easier. Backhand with this grip, it's super tough. All right. One more question, guys. Gotta go. What is your opinion on a fully extended Federer versus arm bend Sinner? A fully extended arm gives you more power, but requires more space. Well, you just answered the question, my friend. Exactly that. So, and also it depends on the grip. Well, maybe not quite, because Federer has Eastern, Nadal is almost like Western. I think Alcaraz is semi. There's no good or bad. You can see they all have great forehands. So it's all matter of personal preference. Hit good in training, but when I play in the game with slow speed ball, my hit was bad. What is the biggest factor? It's your footwork, positioning, right? You gotta adjust better. You gotta feel the ball and the placement where you stand and the timing of your swing, right? So you gotta work on that. And in training, so try to practice with this kind of slower balls, because sometimes in training we just like to get the rhythm, bam, 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 and in the match we get these random shots. Of course, you're not familiar. Same thing with the net play question. You need to do more of that where you feel uncomfortable. So in the training, have your partner give you this moon balls, slices, slow balls, and then you do like this, fast feet, bam, 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 and then adjust your swing, and then still commit to your swings. Go in this trap to kind of, you start pushing as well. All right. That's it. Good. All clear. Wawrinka or Federer backhand? I would choose Federer. Roger all day. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this was slightly useful, that you got some information. I think I answered a few questions. As long as it helped one of you, I'm so happy here. Thanks so much. Thanks for videos. Did you start to learn a little bit Chinese? Howda, harder learning tennis. 我说一点点中文，我懂中文，我是米兰网球老师。All right, Guys, that was it. You even got some Chinese here. And yeah, continue playing this game. Let's continue this. This is gonna be our routine. Every Thursday, I'm gonna be here, and you come back with even more interesting questions and problems. Let's solve them together. Have a great day. See you next time.